Hi, welcome to Yoga with Brianna. Today we're going to focus on some slow movement that's going to stretch our low back, maybe activate our core just a little bit. I've just recently been injured, so I've been spending a lot of time doing these stretches to slowly work out some low back tension. So if you're feeling that today, this class is for you. You will need a yoga strap or bathrobe tie, and it might be beneficial to have some blocks nearby. If you do not have yoga blocks, really thick books would come in handy. With that being said, pick the variations that are needed for you today, whatever that might be. This is going to be about a 40-minute class, and we will meet at the back of our mat. Starting in our child's pose, we're going to come to the back of our mat. Bring your knees to the wide width edges. Put your toes to touch. Set your hips all the way back and begin to walk your upper body out. Let your arms go out long overhead. Let the forearms rest down and just slowly begin to soften the body. Breathing in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Slowly just coming to the four corners of our mat. Finding some stillness. If you have a practice in setting an intention, now is a good time to do so. Your intention can be anything you want it to be, a word, a phrase, a mantra. Bringing your attention to your breath, inhale deeply through the nose. Pausing at the top, and then slowly exhaling through the mouth. One more time, big belly breath. Pause at the top. Exhale through the mouth. Sealing our lips as we continue that steady breath. Inhale. Exhale through the nose. One more time. Inhale. Exhale through the nose. Allowing your hips to be heavy, maybe slightly tucking the tailbone, maybe even just gently shifting from right to left with the hips, letting our lower back begin to soften. If you'd like, you can inhale, walking the fingertips towards the top of the mat, lengthening through the spine, reaching out long, maybe tint up on the fingertips. And as we exhale, we draw those hips back closer to the heels, feeling that nice tug of war, lengthening the spine. One more time, maybe walk those fingertips out just a little further. Exhale, guide the hips back, maybe tuck that tailbone, feel the space in the low back begin to happen. And then when you're ready, we're going to roll up into our tabletop. In our tabletop, our wrist comes directly below the shoulders. Our fingers are spread wide. We tuck the knees just inside the hips. If you'd like, place both fists together, placing them on the insides of the knees. Once you have your stance, we're just going to gently begin to move the spine. If you're feeling that pressure in the low back, then you can just take as much as you need or as little. As we exhale, we're going to round through the back. Maybe tuck those toes even as you press the floor away. Activate those toes, engage the core. Make that big C, keep tucking the tailbone, bringing the belly button up and back. Inhale, drop it down. You can stay at a neutral spine or begin to arch the back like the cow. And then exhale, round. Really focusing on that low back here, tucking that tailbone, dropping the head, getting the full C. Drop it down one more time. And exhale. We're going to walk our hands out just a step apart. You can tent up on the fingertips if you'd like to as well, but we're going to keep that arch. Keep rounding through the spine like that angry cat. Press into the toes. Keep drawing the belly button up. And then inhale, reach the ribs to the right. Exhale, keep rounding and go to the left. Breathe in deep, inhale, keep arching the back. Coming back through the center. Untuck the toes. Set the hands down. Kick the right leg back. Plant the toes into the floor. And just kind of pulse. Moving nice and slow. Keeping that spine neutral. Inhale, floating the right leg up. Exhale, we're going to hug the knee into the chest, round through the upper back, pulling it up tight. Kick it back, inhale. Exhale, round, pulling the knee in. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale. And set the right knee down. Left side, toes back. Inhale, float the left leg up. Don't crunch into the low back. If you're feeling any pressure, you're welcome to drop the toes back into the floor. Once you find your stance, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rounding to the back as we hug the knee into the chest. 1. Exhale, 2. Last 1. And 3. Set the knee down. Moving from our tabletop today, inhale, bring the right foot up in between the hands. You can walk the back foot back. And then just coming up into a neutral spine. We're sinking into the hips. We have a 90-degree bend in our knee, sinking into the hips. Spine's nice and long, draw the low belly up. If you'd like, you can reach your hands up, interlace your fingers behind your head, and just slowly send your gaze to the sky. We open the elbows wide, opening the chest. Inhale, reaching our hands back up. Exhale, coming to frame the right foot. If you need use of your blocks, whether you have 1 or 2, you have 2, place it on either side of the foot, maybe the edges of the mat, and slowly begin to send the hips back. If you only have 1 block available, you can use the 1 block on the inside, take both hands to the inside. What we're aiming for here is to make sure that this right hip isn't snaking up. We're going to pull it down, even out the hips, lengthen through the spine, and slowly begin to fold over the right leg. There are many levels of your blocks, so find the one that works for you. Adjust as needed. But when you find what's comfortable, what works, you want to be able to feel this in the hamstring, behind the knee, rounding through the glutes, all the way up into this low back area. We're going to stay here for just a couple breaths. And then either with your blocks or without them, we're going to begin to shift forward back to that little runner's lunge, leaning into the front foot. As we exhale, we're going to keep the stomach to thigh compression, and we're going to move back into that half split. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, send it back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Once you find you're here, your hand should be extended past your foot. Balance out those hips one more time. Pull the right hip down, left hip forward. You can tuck the left toes, and then we're going to arch that back yet again. Keep pressing through the fingertips, flexing the foot for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come forward. Take the left hand down. Inhale, the right arm up. Small little twist. Exhale the right hand down. Sweep the right foot back and reset. Left foot comes forward. Finding that lunge. And again, you can just take your hands to the knee, sinking into the hips. If you liked that chest opener, interlace your hands behind your head. Lift through the chest, open the elbows. Reaching up, coming to frame that left foot and begin to glide the hips back. Taking what you need here. Again, you're welcome to use your blocks in whatever accessible way you have. We're engaging the low back here, having that nice flat spine. Keep pulling those hips even. The left hip pulls down, the right hip pulls forward, squaring the hips, feeling that good stretch all through the back side of the left leg, around the glutes, into the small back. Then moving with our breath, walking your hands forward, finding that runner's lunge, lifting through the chest, keeping the stomach and thigh compressed, glide the hips back, flex the foot. 1. Inhale forward. Exhale 2. Forward. Exhale 3. Squaring those hips yet again, maybe tending up on those fingertips. Begin to round through the spine, pressing the floor away. You can tuck those right toes for some extra support, extra pressure for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, moving forward, finding that runner's lunge, plant into the right hand, lift the left. Exhale the left hand down, framing the foot, sweep it back. And slowly begin to lay all the way down onto our chest. You're going to take your elbows directly under the shoulders and spread the palms wide on the mat. You want to imagine that you're going to begin to shift your upper body forward. So activate the core, press into the tops of the feet. We're going to lengthen through the low back. So we're going to imagine separating the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting through the chest, reaching tall through the crown of the head with your gaze going right in front. I'm not going to be here long, just for 3, 2, 1. Slowly release, coming all the way up onto our knees, bringing the knees together. Set the hips back, bring the forehead down onto the mat. You can send your arms back beside your feet. Just a little reverse child's pose here. Slowly coming up onto our hands or onto just our knees. With our hands, we're going to take them forward, palms facing each other. We're going to slide the palms back, cupping the glutes, maybe even imagine cupping the heels. So as we do this, we're going to sit up tall, keeping our hands down around our hips. As we exhale, we're going to slide our hands around the heels, drop and round through the spine. Imagine your forehead going to your knees and just holding here. If your forehead is in fact touching your knees, you can slowly begin to lift all the way up through the hips. But if you just want this nice little stretch, just keep imagining that forehead pressing against the knees, rounding through that back, finding that space in the lower back for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rolling up. Hands behind the head one more time, interlacing the fingers. Exhale, maybe send that right elbow down towards the floor. Inhaling up, exhaling the left. All the way back up one more time. Send those hands down by the hips, cupping the ankles or the heels. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, round. Three, 2, 1. Inhale, rolling up one more time. Interlace the hands, find the back of the head, lift the chest. Exhale, drop to the right. Inhale through the center. Exhale, drop to the left. Reaching the hands out and around, finding that tabletop. Walking your knees to be about hips width distance. You can move from tabletop in this. We're going to come into our pigeon. If you prefer to move from down dog, you can go ahead and begin to straighten out the legs. Pressing back into our down dog. Then we're just going to immediately bring the right knee behind the right wrist, kick the right ankle out behind the left, and begin to walk the left leg back. So if you notice that your hips are up really, really high and you want a little bit more stability, you can insert one of your blocks up under the glutes, sitting down, and then begin to walk yourself out onto your forearms. We're going to be here for a little bit of time, so make sure you flex that right foot, square the hips, inhale, and then exhale, begin to walk yourself out. You can stop at the forearms. You can stack your fist and allow your forehead to rest on your fists. You can take the backs of the hands all the way down, or you can rest your forehead gently onto the floor. You're folding over this right leg. You're flexing the foot. You feel the stretch through the glutes into the small back. And I just want you to focus on any tension in the body. Anything you feel like you're holding on to. Maybe you're clenching the teeth or the tongue is glued to the roof of the mouth. Anything that you can soften at this moment. Take these next few breaths to do so. Last breath, inhale. Exhale, sink into the hips. And then slowly begin to walk yourself up. Still remaining in our pigeon, we're going to take our left hand and grab the right foot. We're going to slowly begin to bring the shin a little bit more parallel to the top of the mat, and then begin to walk the left foot back. Keep applying pressure to keep yourself stable with this right hand and holding your foot with the left. You should feel this a little bit more intensely all the way up into the glutes, around in that sciatica area. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sink down to the right side and slowly begin to bring the left foot around. I'm going to face you so you're able to see me a little bit better. So with the right shin parallel to the top of the mat, we're going to begin to bring the left shin forward. So our first option is to stop with it crossed out wide. Look down, make sure you can see this perfect little triangle. If you're here, but you want to go a little further, you can take your block and set it up under the left ankle. Your knees are still going to be up high, hips are really tight. If this is where you're at, this is where you're at. The last and final option would be to take the left ankle and cross it on top of the right knee. We're not aiming for our hips, we're not lotus. We're trying to get our shins parallel. We have this perfect little equilateral triangle between our legs. Sit up tall. And if your knee's really, really high, you feel it really, really tight, just focus on sitting up tall. But if you have a little bit of room, you can begin to walk your hands out. Maybe take them in front of you. Lengthening the spine, and exhale, slowly folding forward. Walking yourself up. Taking the left foot, setting it on the outside of the right thigh. You can tuck the right foot behind you, take the left arm behind you, and then the right hand can slowly grab the elbow, or you can grab the knee, or take the right elbow to the right knee, left knee. All over the place today. Gently look over the left shoulder. Inhale, unwind, and reset, uncrossing the legs. We're going to bring the left shin slightly parallel to the top of the mat. Swing that right foot back and begin to slowly find your pigeon. You walk the right foot back as much as you need. In this first one, we can angle the front shin, that left shin, as much as needed to find balance in the hips, lifting up through the chest, and then exhale, walk it out. And you can stop at the forearms with that spine nice and long. You can stack the fist, backs the hands, or just bring your forehead all the way down. Finding whatever option works best for you today, and just stay here for a couple breaths. Finding the softness, releasing what you can. Last breath, inhale. Exhale. Beginning to walk yourself up. This time we're going to ground into the left hand. That right hand is going to help bring the left foot parallel. Holding that foot in place. Square those hips for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sink into the left side. Swing the right foot around. Again, we bring that left shin parallel. You can cross the right foot out in front. You can stack it on the block, flexing both of your feet. And then the final option is to stack right ankle on left knee. You want your heel to hang off just a little bit, finding that nice little equilateral triangle. And then sit up tall. Remember your options. If your knee's up really, really high, just focus on sitting up tall. Don't press into the knee. You can walk those hands out in front. Lengthen the spine and fold. When you're ready, walk yourself back up. The right foot drops to the outside of the left thigh. The left foot can tuck in. Right hand behind you. Then you can hug the left knee or hug the right knee, or take the left arm, cross over and look over the right shoulder. Inhale, unwind. Extending our legs out long in front. Sitting up tall, we're going to take our peace sign fingers and hook our big toes. If that's not accessible, you are welcome to take your strap or bathrobe tie and wrap them around your feet. Inhale, lengthen. As we exhale, we're going to bring the low belly in and we're going to round through the low back, not the upper back. We're not rounding this way. We're rounding through the lower back so you can begin to press into the soles of the feet. You have that big toe grip. You're going to press into the big toe mounds, rounding through that low back, pulling the belly button up and back closer to the spine for 3, 2, 1. Release. One more time. Exhale, fold. Using that counterbalance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Taking your right foot a little wider than your hips, maybe to the edge of the mat. Bring the left foot in like a figure 4. We're going to fold over the right leg. So squaring your chest, even with the right leg, begin to walk yourself out. Make sure, again, that left shoulder is not going to snake forward, just like this pose in any other posture. Reach that chest forward and fold. Again, you can use your strap if you don't have that foothold just yet. Locking yourself up. Switching your sides. So this time the left foot comes out a little bit wider than the hips. The right foot's going to fold in. You're going to square your chest over the left leg and begin to walk yourself out. You can find that grip, find your strap. Inhale that spine nice and tall, squaring your chest over and fold. Inhaling yourself up. Taking both of your feet to the wide edges of the mat. You can bring your block to sit on its tallest level in the middle. We're going to slowly work our shoulders till we feel like they're moving slowly, delicately up under the knees. You can take the block to allow your forehead to rest down. I just want you to hold this posture. You can wrap your hands around your ankles. If it's more comfortable to extend your arms out long as you move those knees up the shoulders, you can. But for today's practice, we're just going to wrap those ankles and begin to find that compression of the stomach and the thighs and feel the release in the low back. We're going to be here for a couple breaths. So maybe close your eyes. Inhale, begin to lift. Remove your block. And then slowly begin to just work your way down to your low back. Bring your strap with you. You're going to plant the right foot with your knee pointing to the sky and slowly just figure 4 the left. You can press the knee open and away. Staying here. You begin to wrap your hands around the right thigh or the right shin, tucking that chin, pigeon just on the floor. Exhale, release. Other side, left knee points to the sky. You figure for the right foot, opening the knee. Staying here if this is where you're at. If you want that little extra, wrapping your hands around the thigh or the shin, but the back of the head comes back to the floor. Release. Bringing both knees together, shins parallel to the sky. Take your hands to your head and slightly begin to lift the shoulders, pressing the small back into the floor. We're going to activate the core while we lengthen the low back. So doing some crunches, we're going to do 2 sets of 7. So inhale, lifting through the chest. Exhale, crunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold here. Press the small of the back into the floor. 3, 2, 1. Lay it down. Let the knees drop to the right side, stacking the hips, keeping the knees in line. You can let the left arm extend out, sending your gaze down that left arm. Inhale through the middle. The knees go to the left. Send your gaze down the right arm. Keep the knees stacked. Bring the knees back. Shins parallel to the sky. Activate that core. Press the small back into the floor. Last set of 7. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and hold for 3, 2, 1. Release. Finding your strap. You can keep your knees bent while we hook the right foot. And keep both straps between both hands and extend that left leg out. You're going to flex the right foot and slowly begin to bring it back towards your face. Keep that right foot active. Inhale. Exhale, pull it a little closer. And then switching the straps to be both in the right hand. You can shorten the grip if you need to. Let the right leg drop open, keeping the left hip pressing down into the floor, squaring the hips to the sky. Inhaling up through the middle. You're going to take both straps with the left hand this time and really shorten that distance between the grip and the foot that you can, because we're trying to keep this right leg up high. And we're going to bring it over the body, but we're not twisting. We're just moving the hips, keeping the shoulders square. You should feel this along the outside of the right thigh, running all the way along into that space in the small back. If you're not quite feeling it there, maybe notice where your foot is resting. If it's kind of down more at a 90-degree bend, I want you to bring it up closer to the shoulder and then keep letting it fall to the right without twisting the torso. We're here for 2 more big breaths. Inhale, taking a Strap in both hands, move the left, switch its place. Extend that right leg down, flex through the left heel, inhale. Exhale, begin to draw the foot closer to the forehead. Inhale, lengthen. Take both straps into the left hand. Let that foot fall to the side. Keeping that right hip glued down to the floor. Inhale, up. And we're going to take the right hand, grabbing both straps. We're going to glide that foot across the body. The left shoulder stays glued to the floor, keeping the torso from twisting. And we just guide that left foot down. Again, if you need to feel it a little bit more intensely, pull the toes towards the shoulder for 3, 2, 1. Back up through the center. Let the strap fall to the ground. Take your knees towards the sky, feet all the way to the wide edges of the mat, and then let your feet or your knees just meet in the middle. And take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Breathe in deeply. Exhale, sigh it out. One more time, big belly breath. And exhale. Returning to the natural rhythm of breath, just gently in and out through the nose. Taking as much time as you need here. For our final posture, Shavasana, you are welcome to keep your knees as they are if that feels good on the low back. If you'd like, you can slowly begin to extend your legs out long, letting the feet open to either side. Let your hands come down, letting the palms rest open. Just allowing the toes to soften, arches of the feet, the ankles, allowing the feet to open up to either side. Noticing a softness to the calves as they press into the floor. Our knees come down away from the thighs. We relax the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings. Our hips are heavy with every exhalation. Our chest and our stomach rise and fall naturally with our breath. We relax our shoulders down away from the ears, softening the biceps and the triceps and the forearms, our fingertips curling in naturally. We soften the muscles in the face and the neck. Our cheeks relax, our bottom jaw slacks. Tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth and our lips gently part. Release any remaining tension in the forehead and allow our eyelids to be heavy. Maybe doing one final scan of the body, picking up any frustrations, emotions, or expectations from our practice today. Anything that does not serve you, that you do not wish to carry with you for the rest of your day. Whatever that might be, bring it to the forefront of the mind. That space between the eyebrows, the third eye chakra. We hold it there as we inhale. And allow it to leave with our exhale. taking a few breaths, a few moments of silence. You're welcome to pause this video if you need more time in Shavasana. If you're ready, slowly begin to zip the feet together. Point the toes. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest one at a time, slowly. Then you can roll over onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow, allowing the left to drape over you as you square your shoulders. Then gently pressing into that left hand, coming to sit comfortably on your mat. Together we reach our arms up overhead, keeping your eyes closed. Exhaling the hands down through the center, stopping at the heart, your thumbs pressing gently against the sternum. Bowing your head in a wonderful gratitude of your practice. May we know the truth, may we speak the truth, may we be the truth. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.